My name is Gavin Murphy. I am from Dublin, Ireland. I've been working at RBA for just over 2 weeks now. Tomorrow's my last day, so I'm very sad. Yeah, I've been working with a lot of different projects here, so I focus on recruitment. So I've been kind of helping out, trying to educate people about recruitment, and I'm also doing some volunteer projects as well to help the society.
So hello, I'm Aisling. I'm a global volunteer in RBA. I've been here for just about 2.5 weeks now, and I've been doing lots of different activities with the local volunteers here, being very integrated in the community, and I've had a fantastic experience so far.
My name is Mille and I'm 19 years old and I'm a global volunteer at the RBA from Denmark, and this is my last day here.
Yeah, so as mentioned in my introduction, I've done a lot of very different activities within my time in RBA. So I started out initially by going to some schools and chatting to the different students, trying to help them with the English. Then myself and Aisling, we actually did a presentation in one of the schools about Ireland. So we educated the children about what Ireland is, what we do in Ireland, what our culture is, what our food, music is in Ireland. I've also done some cooking with the volunteers, which has been quite fun. And then I've done a couple of presentations too. So as mentioned, I do IT instruction support recruitment. So I did a presentation on about how to start your career in IT. So that covered different ways of what IT was, an introduction to IT, and how people could change their career go into IT as well. So I'm also going to be doing tomorrow a presentation with the students about CV building. So how for them to identify a good CV, some good CV tips for them, and then I will also be doing interview preparation, so how to prepare for an interview once you've got an interview, and also giving some tips and tricks in the training too.
Yeah, so I am a pharmacist by training, so I have been doing a lot of healthcare initiatives with RBA in both the elderly and the early childhood age groups. So I have been to an elderly community in Dewan, where I was taking blood pressure and educating on healthy food intake, and that was a really good experience, and it was great to get to speak to the locals and learn a bit more about the healthcare in Indonesia. As well as that, in the schools, it was a really good experience with the children, teaching them about germs that can make them sick, and what causes diarrhea and vomiting, and making it in a fun and engaging way with the storytelling puppets. They had a lot of energy, and it was really good to see the schools in Indonesia.
What lesson did you get?
How I feel during the activities. There's been some very interesting activities. I've been going to a lot of elementary schools and interacting with the kids and reading books aloud to them in English, and I've been going on trips like social fairs and science fairs, and I went to Relawan for the weekend, which was very nice, and joined them for a social fair, and I saw the tea plantation and the tea production, and in general the activities have been really nice here, and I've learned
I've learned a lot about doing these activities, particularly with school kids. I learned a lot about obviously language, communication. Obviously there's always a language barrier between them, so I've learned to kind of communicate with kids, which is great. I learned a lot about the Indonesian culture, the different ways of life, and how hard-working Indonesian people are, and especially the people here at RBA, and how motivated they are to work towards bettering the community, which I think is very commendable as well. I've also learned some teamwork and to work within a cultural team as well. So obviously our backgrounds are very different, but I've learned to kind of work together and overcome problems together as well.
I suppose I've learned a lot of lessons from these activities, particularly with going from elderly to children, and tailoring your message to different audience and what's important to the different audiences that you're speaking with and learning with. So tailoring your communication and how you're saying things to different audiences.
Well, first of all, I learned so much about the culture in Indonesia, of course, staying with the local family and being at the office, going to the schools. You get to see everything like firsthand, which was very nice. And I learned how to interact more with the kids because most of the time the kids were like first graders, not that old, so they couldn't really speak English that well. So I had to improvise and use my hands to gesture. And yeah, I learned how to interact with kids, even though we have a language barrier and couldn't talk together.
I hope and aspire that RBA will continue doing the great work that they're doing, so continue to motivate and encourage young, talented people that are coming out of university. I hope that they continue to raise awareness for the wonderful work that they're doing, so within the different charities and work with different communities as well. And I would hope that they would, as I mentioned, to inspire younger people and younger generations to kind of come work with RBA and see what kind of excellent work they're doing, to see the work that they're doing with the community as well, and see the impact that they're making too.
So I can see firsthand how well RBA is doing at making meaningful initiatives in the community. In the future, I can definitely see, RBA spread, the word of RBA being spread, and maybe like more volunteers, more projects, because it is a really successful programs that are in the community.
My expectations and hope for this journey has mostly been actually to learn about the culture. That was my main goal, because I didn't know anything about Indonesia, and I wanted to see how the culture is, and I also wanted to learn how the school system works here, which I did from going to all the elementary schools and talking with the teachers and the other local volunteers. And I did learn a lot about the culture, both from the office and talking with the other volunteers here and having this.
3 words describe RBA: fun, hard-working, and a very driven environment.
3 words? Okay. I would say fun, engaging, and collaborative. Fun because everything has key messages, but it's all delivered in a fun way and engaging way. That comes on to my second word. It's very engaging, depending on the project, you're always thinking how can you keep people interested and engaged, and it's very collaborative because all the different teams work together in RBA. Visual communications, the operations team, the local volunteers and the global volunteers, everybody collaborates together for our common goal.
Meaningful, fun, and exciting.